release of control as regards to us going into our own rangatiratanga, as regards to our resources and resourcing, but we're still part and parcel of the overall governance as regards to the treaty. There is a lot of healing and inroads for the other partner to actually step up, so to speak, as regards to, well, let's look at it. The reservoir is empty of our whenua. You know, we used to have control over 76, 77 million acres of land with the surrounding islands. Now, what have you got? You've emptied out the reservoir, you've emptied out the control of our tonga, so it's only right that to get true partnership, you must come and say, okay, we are prepared now as a true partner to go into a true partnership. Perhaps the Crown in their wisdom might release control of what they have to actually heal the wounds of our people that had happened over the 160 years.
Article 3 in the draft declaration speaks of self-determination for Indigenous peoples, and the government isn't really happy with supporting self-determination of Māori or Indigenous peoples at all. One of the concerns that has been voiced by New Zealand, along with America and Australia, is that there wasn't a consensus reached among Indigenous peoples and states, and in particular on self-determination. What does that mean? Who are Indigenous peoples? They're not even defined. This was New Zealand's one of their concerns, which is really kind of funny given that there were actually two conventions, international conventions, that New Zealand has already signed, saying that all peoples have the right to self-determination. Now, either all peoples do or they don't. And, you know, New Zealand's a signatory to those two conventions. Or is New Zealand saying that Māori aren't really peoples? You know, you can't have your cake and eat it too. You can't have it both ways. Because if New Zealand is saying that Māori aren't peoples under those two conventions and don't have the right to self-determination, well, isn't that discrimination? And if it is discrimination, then New Zealand will be breaching another treaty that they've signed up to, which is the Convention on the Elimination of Racial Discrimination. And I'm reminded of a comment that the chairperson of the Permanent Forum on Indigenous Issues said at the time when New Zealand, Aussie and America made their joint statement opposing the draft. And she said, look, thank you very much for being open and candid, New Zealand, Aussie and America, about your opposition, but the truth is most of the conflict in this world, or at least a great deal of it, has been brought about because Indigenous people's rights have been violated